Don't be a wallflower. Get involved in the chat and enjoy this episode of Wealth, Wine and Wisdom.
Benton.
Whitten.
How are you, mate?
Ladies and gents, I'm good.
It's a bit strange to be doing this in person.
It is a little bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looking at each other, sitting next to each other while staring at you over there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, folks, welcome along. Good to see you here. We're in sunny, not so sunny, Sydney.
It's a bit miserable.
We're having a little romance date. See our little picture behind us. Andy flew to Sydney from Melbourne. I flew to Sydney from the Gold Coast, and we're meeting halfway.
It was beautiful in both locations, and it's miserable in Sydney. But anyway, happy Friday, team. As usual, if you're jumping in, let us know where you're tuning in from, whereabouts in Australia, what you're up to, what you've been looking at in the news. For those of you, it's the first time that you're here, welcome. Love to have you. Grab something wet that you can join us with. A little bit of glass of wine is our favourite. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom is brought to you by us, trying to navigate this political uncertainty and clickbait journalism that seems to be the fear-mongering peptide or possibly even drug of the media.
Crack cocaine of the media. Anyway, yeah.
And trying to help our clients, help you see through what it is really, rather than what it's meant to be from the media. They're at it. The number two menace, number one menace, of course, are the politicians. Number two menace are the media. And given the fact that there's been a little bit of action in the markets, both domestically and globally, they're at it again. So let's see whether we can spend some time to look clearly at what's really going on, rather than just looking at all of the traumatic headlines that are designed purely to capture your attention, which is what they're doing. So good to see you guys on board. It's a little bit further away to actually see names there.
Do you need glasses, mate? I've got mine on today, but so Fenton's squinting, but I can see at a distance. But anyway, that's good. Good to see you, folks. Welcome along. A few of you already in the chat, so keep the comments rolling and have a drink or two. Like Andy said, we're going to maybe debrief the week and have a little look at maybe not only some wealth, some wine, but Andy might have a little bit of wisdom a bit later on.
About that. I look for you for that, mate.
We shall see. We shall see. But usually we're joined by property investors and business owners. So if that's you, welcome along. If it's not you, hey, welcome anyway. We've got some opinions. Some of them wild and far out. Some of them
a bit spicy.
But at the end of the day, they come from our experiences as investors and coaches of people creating wealth in Australia predominantly. So welcome along. Great to have you here. We've got people from all over Adelaide, Perth, which is excellent. And
it's a bit early to be drinking in Perth, isn't it?
Well, it's never too early to be drinking. It's somewhere. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon sometimes. There we go. So anyway, mate. Well, let's get into the week. Highlight of my Fridays. Thanks, Sarah. Great to have you here as always, Sarah, one of the finance team. If you got a finance question, just tag Sarah in the chat today. But anyway.
Hey, listen, just before we do,
yeah,
being in person with Whitten is actually a rare privilege. So this time I actually treated him to a nice bottle of wine. So we've got a nice Sancerre here, mate, which is
tell me about that.
Right up your alley. It's a Sauv Blanc. It's the only type of Sauv Blanc I'll drink. It's a lighter Sauv Blanc from France, and mate, hopefully you're liking it because it's a good drop. This one.
It's nice. I was about to ask for where's the ice, Fenton, but now you've told me you've spent money on a fancy wine. I probably better not do that. But anyway, all right. Well, let's crack on, folks. Let's have a bit of a conversation about what is going on. If you are in the world of investing, a business, well, Andy and I have got some things that we'd like to share with you today. And one of those things, Andy, one of those things, folks, unless you've been living under a rock, the market's been traveling pretty nicely. The Australian market, I think there was a bit of a down valuing in the stock market today or yesterday or whatever.
Has been over the last week.
Yeah,
and apparently it's a bloodbath now. It's a bloodbath.
I love the.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, what's it down 1% or 2%? It's
Down-
a bloodbath.
Down 2%.
Yeah, 2%.
Up like 50% for the year,
Yeah,
and then down 2%, and it's a bloodbath. Well,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, that's the kind of bloodbath I want. Up 40 or 50%, and then down by 2%. I'll take that ride any day of the week, and it's not even 2%.
No, well, I tell you what. What's up a long way, and is Fenton going there already. What is up a long way is the two largest asset classes in Australia by a country mile, which is the residential real estate. We've cracked $12 trillion, folks. Give us a shout out in the chat if you're a property real estate investment owner, residential, by the way. It is the largest asset class in Australia by a country mile. Our stock market here is pretty small in comparison compared to the rest of the world. And maybe it's the same ratio around the world. I'd be interested to know that. So first time ever in Australia's history, $12 trillion worth of residential real estate on the ticker. Commercial real estate actually has gone dead sideways for 5 years.
Yeah.
Maybe even a smidgen down, and I think it's just rebalanced right now. But also another one over the last year or two, Andy, that you and I are keeping an eye on is the $4.3 trillion in super. And these are benchmarks. These are things that are... Now, when you hear these Muppets talk about, mortgage stress and all this sort of stuff, well, check this out. Outstanding mortgage debt against that $12 trillion of residential real estate debt. Now, it'll be interesting because I wonder if it's commercial as well. They haven't specified that. But tell me about what's the LVR on 12 trillion to 2.5 trillion. Where's the fucking mortgage stress in that bullshit, right? It's probably a small percentage of people who are leveraged into real estate, probably new. But most people who've had their real estate for, 15, 20, 30 years, most of them have got low LVRs, low debts, making the banks wealthy, unfortunately, because they're not using it very well, folks. But, have a look at that. We're all wealthier. Hopefully you're feeling wealthier.
And not that I'm wishing this upon anybody.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you jump into a market that's gone up 10%. You've struggled to pay your mortgage for 2 years. $1 million property's gone up $200,000. You have to sell it. You bank it.
Yeah.
Like you kind of go, the net negative is not as negative as what you would say it is, or what you would be led to believe it is.
Yeah. I agree with you. And this is the thing, you've got to keep an eye on these headlines. Tell me, folks, if you're with us, and depending on the delay when it comes through to wherever you are, sort of YouTube and Facebook, they've got different delays. But put it in the chat. What are the 4 menaces that we talk about that you have to temper your reaction to or listening to in Australia, or dial it up or dial it down? Don't react to these 4. They're the eroders of wealth in Australia, folks. We call them the 4 menaces. But the number one menace, Fenton.
Maybe the 4 super sinners.
Don't make something new up. Like, what do we call it? The number one menace. There we go. Boom. Well, let me tell you, the number one menace in our country at the moment by country mile is the politicians. Hey, absolutely off their chops at the moment. And a few things that are going on in the world of real estate. A little bit of capital growth movement in my game when it comes to the marketplace. And for most of us, we're following along in this. Now, the big markets right now in growth terms are Brisbane and Perth. They're hurtling along at decent speeds. But I think they're going to run out of steam sometime soon. And I'll show you a little stat in a minute about this, because what will slow those markets down is the ratio of house price to income.
Yes. And
it's an interesting one.
There will be pressure on income soon, because jobs are available. Jobs are abundant at the moment. But as that starts to take effect and employers have to compete, there's a natural push. And the other thing is that people forget that inflation, unless you end up in deflation, which is horrible.
Yeah.
inflation catches the rising tide. So everything will slowly catch up.
Yeah.
Might take 1, 2, 3 years, maybe a little bit longer, depending on the market, but it will catch up.
Well, a bit later on, folks, hang around for this because Fenton and I are going to do the what if scenario. Australian real estate's fairly well highly priced at the moment. Up there in record prices. Can it? Should it? Will it ever go down? There's talk, from certain places and spaces that property prices will go down. I think that's complete, absolute rubbish. I've heard that a million times. However, we will talk about what happened in Japan, and property prices did significantly go down over time, on average. Now, we're going to pontificate that a bit later. So just giving you a heads up, hang in there because we're going to have a little chat about that later. I was going to drop this one on Fenton, but he and I have already talked about it, so it's not a surprise to him anyway. So, mate, what's going on for you over in the world of the news anyway?
Well, not anything majorly new, but I thought I'd just highlight it. This was in the Fin Review.
Yeah.
Young economists say first home buyer support should be scrapped. Well, not just young economists, just about every single economist has come out well ahead and warns that this will be inflationary.
Yeah.
This will not
solve
the problem.
Yeah, already is.
We reported on it, literally 5% up.
Up like that.
Like bang.
Yeah.
Literally within the month. That was the CPI data.
Yeah.
I'd venture to say that when we get next quarter's CPI data, it will be significantly up again from there. It's no secret, team, whenever you manipulate a market, you're such a control freak.
I am. But it looks better, right?
This is the hard part in being in proximity. It's like, but whenever you manipulate a market, right? Whether you try and use legislation, whether you try and use media, whatever it is, debt. Whenever you manipulate a market, capitalism will conspire to close the manipulation gap. We know that. That's as close to fact as what you'll get. So if you subsidize something, you subsidize energy prices, what happens? Energy prices go up. You subsidize people getting into the property market, property values go up.
It's fake. It's fake economics, right?
Yes.
And what happened certainly with COVID, right? The reason we saw so many business bankruptcies and stuff like that, business liquidations, that the can got kicked down the road.
Yes.
The average Aussie and business owners put a fucking shitload of cash in the bank because the government were giving free cash away.
Well, the smart ones did.
The smart ones did. Yeah, anyway, the smart ones did. But they didn't need to do it, right? So whenever you keep something alive that shouldn't be alive in a system.
Oh, there was tens of thousands of zombie businesses.
Yeah.
I remember getting phone calls from people saying, I can't believe I've just got all of this money for a company that I was literally on the edge of having to wind up.
Yeah.
And they got tens of thousands of dollars and they were already dead in the water.
This thing is, I think, similar. Now, the thing for me is that, and I want to sort of riff on this a bit later, especially with property prices, but I don't think I would love to understand your opinion, and maybe we can sort of reach out to a few other people who've got alternatives, because you get a blind spot if you're a true believer.
Yes.
You're kind of like, oh, what could go wrong? But right now I can't see how it can come undone. Even though I completely disagree with this
lending and legislation. Lending and legislation are the two things that'll bring it undone.
And I'm going to offer something a bit later why that won't happen. So hang around for that.
I hope it starts with an O, because then it could be LOL.
LOL. Well, there you go. Anyway, so we'll have a look at that, Andy. We'll have a look at that as we go along. But it's not working.
News.com, which is now relegated to such status as the Sun in the UK. They probably will have girls in bikinis on the front page of their newspaper soon. Fictitious wealth, global bloodbath. Aussie homeowners warn. Well, show me the facts, show me the proof, give me the data. Like, where is it? Is it? I mean, the reality is that pockets of it, and if we chat about this later, pockets of it could get, because if outer suburbs real estate, which is probably mispriced aggressively, and people get FOMO in outer areas, then there can be where there's not quality and it's not good value real estate. I see that stuff, there could be a bloodbath in certain areas of it, but in general, I think it's very, very difficult when there's such a massive shortage.
Yeah.
extraordinarily difficult. And this one I just thought was really interesting, given given what's been happening in the news. Former FASEA, which is effectively the ethics, drive into financial advice. FASEA and ASIC executives launched a trustee service. Isn't that interesting? Now, I've got to do some digging into this to understand exactly what's going on. But you go targeting discretionary trusts, targeting all of these areas, and then two of the big dogs from those organisations who have been driving all of this stuff, including ethics with financial advice, and which is really interesting stuff. We should have a chat about it someday, because what we would believe is
I don't think ethics is interesting at all.
Well, this is the point. Like, I had to sit an ethics exam, and it was teaching me about denological. I can't even pronounce half of them, but we had to learn all of these Greek words about ethics in order to be able to understand. Don't do the wrong thing by your client. Effectively,
that's not very difficult, right? That's a
talk about overcomplicating. Right. But also, I just thought this is interesting because there's equity trustees that got caught up in Shield, First Guardian.
Yeah.
Right. So they're a big trustee service for around Australia. Then there's this push against discretionary trusts and the documentation of discretionary trusts, which goes to...
Well, the ATO are just fucking having a crack, aren't they? But yeah, I've got something for that.
So then
so what's the sort of takeaway for people listening in right now?
Well, let's just watch this space, because it's interesting when the people who are driving some of the changes are then the ones who then go out and privatise business models that monopolise on it. Now, I can't say that for a fact right now. So allegedly...
Yeah, with them. What's in it for me?
Look, very, very interesting. Because look, if I had no conscience and I was sitting in a government job, and
I was going to say you're a politician.
Guess
the. Well, yeah. Anyway, there you go.
So if I
allegedly politician,
then I would probably go, well, how do I make sure that I bring in policies that give me the opportunity of creating a company when I leave politics?
Yeah, or look after my mates who give me a backhander.
100%. Yeah. So it just sort of is really interesting, given the turbulence now, out launching their own services. I think my anticipation is they're going to do very, very well, because they wrote the bloody rules.
Well, if you know them, if you know the rules, you know how to manipulate them, 100%. Don't you? Oh, there you go. Well, listen, over in my neck of the woods, there's something else going on as well. I had this one here. Too many young prospective first home buyers lured in by sales campaigns. Now, I don't know. This one is
that a government sales campaign?
Well,
is that not what they've been doing? So here's your incentive, so all Australian young people can go and get a property now, and then
well, this is. Do you know what this is?
This is laughable.
Well,
the world is upside down.
But this is an interesting one, because I was going to have a bit of a fucking rant here at the cotton wool fucking world of our children growing up in cotton wool societies, right? Right. This is saying, our young people shouldn't be misled with underquoting reserve price law. Now, for fuck's sake. Like, why do we have to fucking bother with a law for underpricing? Who gives a shit?
Well, who knows?
And who cares? Like, why? Like, what's the problem? You show up on Saturday and some muppet said it was going to be 4 million, it sold for 5 million. Who cares? Like, I mean, why does the government have to get involved?
You wasted my Saturday.
That's right.
There should be a law against that.
Like, I mean, we've got better fucking things to do. Let's face it. Anyway, I think that's bullshit.
This should be called the time-wasting legislation.
Fucking Victorians, right? But anyway.
I would say that actually bringing that legislation is wasting more time than turning up to an auction.
Fucking tell me about it. Tell me about it, right? This is the thing. Anyway, it's anyway, that's my little rant about that one. But here's something you got to be. The old ATA threatens to break the golden rule for holiday home tax deductions. Now, you used to be able to with a holiday home. The holiday home is like, all right, well, you make it available for rent.
Yep.
And there's no definition of the exact amount of time and whatever, right?
Yep.
So, okay, you rent it for 6, 7, 8 months of the year, and then you keep Christmas for yourself, right?
Why not?
Why not? Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Well, you know what they're saying now? No. You can't keep Christmas for yourself. Then you're not going to get a tax deduction if you keep Christmas, if you keep the busy times, right? which is, I mean, this is what they're having a crack at it right now. What
No.
what a joke, mate. This is the thing.
Does that mean if I don't work over Christmas, I can go on the dole?
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is
Okay.
it. Like, the Australian Tax Office this week released draft guidance proposing that deductions will be disallowed for a property is considered mainly for personal use. What do you mean fucking mainly? Now, well, what's the definition of mainly, especially during peak periods? Well, what's a peak period, right? Is peak period, racing? Is it down in Melbourne because it's the Grand Prix, or is it tennis? Or what about when it's summer because everyone likes to surf
or when
there?
it's cold and you can have a nice glass of red wine?
Like, I mean, come on now. This is bullshit. This is overreach and absolute.
This is not what politics is designed for.
No, they should be doing.
Legislation was.
It's not what legislation is designed for. Well, I think this is bullshit, folks. Make sure you keep an eye on this stuff. Now, I'm a big fan of having properties that have dual purposes. Yeah. Follow the rules.
Yes.
Right. The rules should be clear so you don't end up breaking them accidentally. But this is a joke, absolute joke as far as I'm concerned, folks. But keep an eye on that one. Yep, it is. That's a technical term, Sarah, which I agree with. That's fucked up. I love it. Listen, folks, this is the stuff. Andy and I.
People will get caught.
They will get caught
accidentally on this stuff too. And you won't even know it.
And you know what? You know what? The other thing is too. This is the thing, Andy. The thing that you and I talk about all the time is that when you have, let's say you've got an accountant that's a little bit kind of more in the ATO's court than yours.
So a police officer.
Yeah. So they are there to calculate what you owe the ATO, not to take care of you, right? Now, I think
there's policies being brought into play that say that they have to W in.
Yeah,
they believe that you're on the edge.
That's fucking rubbish, isn't it? So
pay them to police you to
W in. Isn't it the fucking government's job anyway? So the private industry now has been it's fucking boo. Get what do you got that on, Fenton? Can't do it. No, yeah, there we go. Boo. Fucking hell. But listen, at the end of the day,
that's Sydney.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the accountant, if you get a weak accountant or someone who's like jumping at shadows, they'll fucking roll you on this.
Yeah.
You'll have a property and they go, oh, we're not going to claim it, right? This is the thing.
All this creates is, I think, in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that was called the Bogon Democratic Process. But what this means, right, is that people will have an accountant consultant and an accountant compliance.
Well, at the end of the day,
it just means that
and
you separate these things out.
Well, you teach this all the time. Maybe, just maybe, folks, you've got to keep them separate, huh? Maybe you've got to have your strategy person doing the strategy stuff, and you have your compliance person doing some other compliance stuff.
Just to be able to navigate what you're allowed to do, not to try and do something naughty, but just to be able to understand legitimately what it is that what is in the realm of the law. Because, and we talked about this a lot, I don't believe that there's a spirit to the law. I don't believe the law has a spirit.
Wow, they talk about that bullshit, don't they?
And it's like, well, it's not in the spirit of the law. Well, it's like, well, I don't remember ever seeing any draft legislation that defined what the spirit of the law was. And then they do egregious overreach like this, and then they're saying, well, your accountant's then going to police it based on broad, because they'll make it broad, intentionally broad, so there's a lot of room for movement in there. And it becomes a nightmare because then they can catch you if they want you, or they can set you free. Nobody really knows what to do. You've got to read the rule book, but the rule book will say, yes, you can do it. And then they'll say, but it's not in the spirit of the law. And who knows what that is?
Well, you've got to prove it. I mean, this is the problem, right?
It's French justice then, isn't it? You're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
And also how much money have you got to kick it down the road and wear each other out? Now, the government, and if you piss someone off in the system.
I was about to say the clergy.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of penalty.
They'll just keep harassing you. But my CFO just went to an update for
anti-money laundering.
Anti-money laundering.
Yeah.
So she just went now. We're in the finance and real estate and property management world. Now I have to fucking report next year at 2026. It's our job to report to the government if we think someone's money laundering. what the fuck? You know, and then my license is in jeopardy if I don't spot it. What a fucking joke that is.
It's
like,
insane.
piss off. Like, what a joke.
I mean,
that's not my job. That's not my job. You know?
It's sinister in its sort of, it's not even clever because they have power to do it, but it's kind of sinisterly clever, right? Because they go, well, let's just make everybody else do our job.
Yeah, well, you know, here's APRA back at it again. Warning of banks looming lending curbs, reduce housing debt risk, et cetera, et cetera.
Do you reckon any of these guys get around a table, like somebody from ASIC, somebody from APRA, somebody who writes policy, and ever sit around and actually go, hey, stop doing that because we're going to do this if you keep doing that? Or do you reckon they go, yeah, you do that and then I'll do this?
Well, I reckon these fuckers have got fuck all to do. Or someone's going, well, how did you miss fucking Shield collapsing, you fucking tosspots? And they're like, oh, hang on, lending again, right? They're looking around to go, oh, well, let's rattle the tree, let's shake something. We've got nothing to do. Things are going fine, actually. You know, lending's not going to be a problem. What, we've had one lending problem in 25 years, Fenton, and even then, you know, as a comparison around the world, we had less than 1% of our debt in this country have any systemic risk in residential world, right? The commercial world was a bit of a clusterfuck. That's just the way commercial lending is. It has a higher risk. You know, the GFC for your average mum and dad,
80%.
Yeah, the GFC for your average mum and dad, fucking who cared? No one even noticed. It was irrelevent, right?
From a debt perspective.
From a debt perspective, yeah.
And as long as you kept your investments,
Yeah.
like it was a pretty hairy time. It was like,
woohoo!
Free fall. It was ugly.
Yeah.
But if you held on, it caught up reasonably quickly.
Anyway, APRA's sniffing around, talking shit again.
So what's this? APRA?
Well, what they're talking about is this, and this is an interesting one, right? So high debt to income investor, interest-only loans, you know, and we amplified.
Isn't that what the government is actually putting into place?
This is what I'm telling you. Like I've got some stuff to show you in a minute, but maybe I'll just I'll jump to this in a second.
Bloody
toes curl. But here's the thing: Australian housing credit growth, right? If you zoom in here, this is your investors, right? It's going through the roof. Well, why is investors going through the roof right now, and then owner occupiers are going to come in, first home buyers real soon? Well, folks, the government's caused that. Because it's not because investors have gone up more, it's because owner-occupiers have fallen so far because they've clusterfucked the supply chain. And as an owner-occupier, to borrow money, it's fucking impossible. It's impossible. They've put
you need the additional income in order to be able to afford.
And the only people who can fucking borrow are someone who's got an additional income. Yes. It's so this is kind of like, Australian investors record investment growth. Piss off. Like it's a joke. Anyway, so those sorts of things are crazy as far as I'm concerned.
Even by that graph, it's not record anyway.
No, it's not a record. So there you go. But here's the drill, right? Housing Australia buys a third of homes off the shelf from developers. Who's Housing Australia?
Oh, so they're competing.
Yeah.
So they're the investors that they're talking about.
Housing shared equity scheme to undershoot demand by 100,000.
So no, I agree now. I agree with APRA. I'm like, APRA, you should tackle these bastards who are doing commercial bulk building so that Australians on average can get into the market rather than super funds and drive up investor.
The New South Wales government is now going to give a guaranteed purchase price on all developers for stock in New South Wales. We heard this the other week, right? Good. So they go, here's what we'll do. We'll solve the supply problem because the average Australian can't afford to buy the damn thing, right?
You couldn't write this.
Fucking lunacy, right?
We've got to do a Monty Python skit on this.
It's like hang on. Average Aussies can't buy it. Well, how do we fix that? Well, we can't. They can't borrow. But you know what we'll do? We'll buy them. The government will buy them. So Housing Australia, underwritten by our super funds, by the way.
Yep.
So who's underwriting this nightmare? Guess what? The Housing Shared Equity Scheme. Guess what? How much does the government own of that person's property / you, because you're the taxpayer? They buy in 40%. 40%. 40% of all of these properties now, 100,000 homes or more. They want to do more. over time.
Like the only way they can build properties is to make sure that they have nothing to do with building them. Like that is the only way a government can build a house. Remember that thing? I think it was Andrew Bragg was constantly pumping in Parliament. How many did you build? Oh well, we've got 110. How many did you build? Well,
how much did you?
They had to be built.
Yep.
In order for them to exist. Yeah. It's like, but did you build them? The answer was no.
No. Well, and yes.
So you purchased them.
So yeah, I mean, who's this Iron? Must be some Iron Jaw, whoever that is. Yeah, it's challenging to create your portfolio. Like, you know, I always say these ones back in my day, Fenton. You know,
which wasn't that long ago because you're a youthful chap.
You know, but when I first started out, the finance products were reasonably flexible, right? Yes. They weren't loony. There was one or two really sort of out there things, but you know, that's just the way all markets have, right? Have stuff. And then you used to be able to do this thing. You used to buy a cash flow property, you know, in a maybe a secondary area, higher cash flow. You'd buy a growth property. We call it pigeon pairing. We put them together, and you were able to, you know, crab walk, sideways walk your servicing forward and buy yourself 5, 8 investment properties over a 10, 12-year period. Right now, like the way APRA and the lenders are now forced to put, you know, 3% on top of your borrower rate, even though you can already afford the interest rate that you're paying on others, they have to put another premium on top of that bullshit. Then there's this debt to fucking other ratio, the DTR ratio. Sarah might be able to chuck a few of those notes in. I mean, it's lunacy. None of that shit was around for fucking 50 years. Nope. And now they're saying, you know what? We don't want people to get ahead. We don't want people to buy properties. You know, if that shit wasn't there, none of this would be a problem. Well, 5 years of restricting lending has caused the supply chain issue, starting with the 2017, maybe even longer now.
And
yeah, there it is, debt to income ratio. It's bullshit.
Land release and approval.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty impossible to build houses if you don't approve land release.
Well,
and you don't approve developments, and that with lending. But here's the thing: that when you think about, and maybe we'll back up here, but when you start to think about everywhere else in the world, so think about Spain, think about London, thinking about different places in the US. Most areas, especially Europe-based, people could never just enter the market. Like entering the property market was not a thing.
Well, they were lifetime renters, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Because real estate, based on size of population, availability of land, and all of those sorts of things, was just too scarce and too expensive, right? So we've got to understand this as well from a global perspective. We had an incredible opportunity as Australians, and we still have it in front of us because there's plenty of land to release. There's plenty of urban sprawl. There's plenty that we can do, right? So there's no reason that we shouldn't be developing significantly more and allowing property development to go significantly more development, more investment, more land release, which would then flatten the price of real estate out. More investment,
100%.
more would actually produce a net more even game than the BS that they're doing right now, which is actually sending it through the roof. Mixed messages.
It's demand, like they're creating more demand, not creating supply.
They're bringing in super funders competitors, offshore investors,
BlackRock as competitors, right?
To Australians. Yep. Then they're subsidising first home buyers by another 5%, which pushes property prices back up. Then
no costs. Then getting cheaper loans. I'll buy 40% of it for you. The house of mum and dad extended to the house of the bank of.
And all of these things are inflationary. Like everything that they're doing is just going to push it up,
mate. Lunacy. Check out this and talk about pushing up. This is the statutory taxes, regulation costs, infrastructure charges for greenfield expansion for house and land in Sydney.
So what does that mean?
So the cumulative cost on the $1.5 million house in Sydney, $576,000 of it goes to the government.
Oh, but they deserve it. I mean, they're doing a good job.
Yeah, they like. Come on, right?
That's a
And
big clip.
lunacy,
That's a big
lunacy, mate.
That's a good business. How do we
Mate.
get into that business?
Mate, well, do you know
We
what
could make
happened?
a fortune.
Guess what? Guess what? They're going to buy it off themselves in New South Wales. That's what's happening. They're like, fuck, this is good. Let's underwrite all of these purchases ourselves.
40%.
Yep,
Because they've already paid for it.
mate.
Oh, that's a scam.
Mate.
Like, if that
that's
was-
a pyramid scheme.
That's a
pyramid scheme.
That's the first guardian.
Anyone else running that's a pyramid scheme.
Like
there you
so,
go.
So literally, it's there. You're putting the money in. They're using taxpayers' money
Yep.
to buy 40% of it. 40% and above of the cost
Yeah.
is actually revenue to them, which they don't pay tax on.
Yeah. Good, eh? Good.
Maybe we should get into politics.
I think we should.
I reckon
Yeah.
we should.
Yeah. Actually, Fenton for PM.
No,
We-
nobody wants.
No, probably state level's better than national.
Jesus,
You know.
this is
Eh?
money making. Like this is insane. This is better than the investment banking days.
Lunacy.
Like
So
we actually had to create nothing in order to be able to get a lot.
yeah,
Wow.
you know, pretty well. Everyone else is at about 40%. New South Wales comes in at 50%. You know,
Jesus,
of
that's
a new house and
insane.
land package.
That's insane.
It's insane. It's loony, folks. It's loony.
And
As you-
Hobart. So Hobart, because they've gone berserk. So that must be kind of real.
Ah, like I've never understood Hobart anyway.
Wow.
Anyway, there you go. Anyway,
that's outrageous.
there you
Like,
go.
this sounds like a
you've got
comedy skit.
you've got a couple of votes, Fenton. You've got one vote. Fenton for PM.
Can you imagine?
I can't. But anyway, listen, we were going to not have too much of a wealth wine and whinging today. We were going to say, all right, well, let's do a bit of wisdom. Let's do a bit of wealth. And you've been riffing on a few things of recent times, which we've just launched a few new teaching pieces.
Yes.
But today, good opportunity to highlight a few of them and remind everyone about, hey, we need to understand what's going on.
Yep.
But all right, let's talk about it.
And here, let's just whinge a little bit more before we get into other stuff. Can you guys put it into the chat? What did these pilfering parasites? What was the number that they put out there? That was, if you had this much money in super, you are a rich pervert and you deserve to be taxed within an inch of your life. Now, they didn't say it in those words, but that was kind of my summation of the super legislations that they were talking about. They didn't get it in, but how much did they say, look, if you've got that, you're super wealthy and you deserve nothing. You deserve nothing because nobody will get to these lofty achievements.
You've worked hard. You've been smart. You
sacrificed.
You followed the rules. You did everything right.
And then we want to chop you off at the knees for doing the right thing. Yeah, there we go. We've already got somebody in. So the 2 million. So where I'm going with all of this is I'm going to show you something that we've been doing with clients more recently, but just show you what's possible, because I said to you months ago, everyone will get there.
Yeah.
Like if you're 30 and you think that number's big, it's not. You're going to get there, and I'll show you why. But there was some really interesting stats, and got a lot of these from Aware Super, actually. And this goes to retirement. It goes to one of the biggest issues, I think, in Australia, is that there's all of this media circus stuff, and also the fact that they absolutely decimated the advisory market in Australia. And what do I mean by that? There used to be like 20,000 advisors in Australia. There's less than half of that now.
50% less.
Yes,
yeah,
50% less because they scared them all away. And some of them weren't doing the nicest stuff. But let's face it, if that were true of all industries, then we probably only have about 5 politicians left. So,
which ones I'd like to know?
Probably the newest ones.
I don't mind Chris O'Fooley anyway. There you go. Yep.
So here's some interesting statistics, and beware of this sort of stuff, and don't be one of the people on the wrong side of it. So not everyone's looking forward to retirement. Only 1 in 5 Australians, 45 plus, who haven't retired are actually looking forward to it. And there's a few different reasons behind that.
I was going to say, what's the reasons?
Well, we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
But I just thought that's a staggering statistic. Only 1 in 5 Australians who haven't retired already are looking forward to it. So to me, that goes, I want to keep working. I'm gonna err on the side of that's probably not the main motivation. Like for me, that would be, and probably for you, and probably for our wives. Like, can you imagine Mags and Shay going, they're going to retire?
Piss off.
What are we going to do?
I'm sure you guys have got better things to do. Go do something.
And we'll get into it a little bit later on because there is fear around people retiring and fear around what the world's going to look like. Excitement increases as people under the age get closer to retiring. So you can see here that strongly agree, like they're very, very excited about retiring, right? So that's this section up here. But once they reach that 65 to 69 and they cannot, then all of a sudden it drops dramatically, right? So
they can't retire.
They can't retire.
Why can't they retire?
Well, let's get into that in a minute. Well, there's the perception on it, right? Well, there's the government pension. They'll keep you safe, won't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Can buy some cat food.
Yeah, they probably will. Better than anywhere else in Australia. But it's interesting. So Australians...
It's more than many places in the world.
Yes.
So
far more.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to medical and stuff like that. But however,
I reckon
our cost of living is pretty high.
They'll probably have your door knocking at some point in time in order to be able to dob people in for taxes that they're not.
Yeah, well, you probably get a bonus.
I reckon that's where it's going. Dob your neighbour in. We'll become the country that used to be the one that you wanted to fight next to, and then we'll become the ones that you don't want anywhere near because they'll dob you in. Now, this is the dangerous statistic. So in the world of advice, it used to be like 20 years ago, you used to come to an advisor, they'd wave a magic wand, they'd take all of your superannuation, they'd take all of your different assets, they'd put them into the right structures, and then boom, everything would change overnight and you'd be in an incredible position. They got rid of all of those laws, which means that now you need to plan. You need to plan a long way in advance, as a matter of fact. It's not just a couple of months out from retirement or a couple of years out. That used to be okay. Now it doesn't cut the mustard because the laws have changed.
What's the definition of a long way?
Well,
5 to 10 years?
Well, let's just say
maybe even 15.
Back in the day, and I speak to Tony about it a bit, like he used to get people about $1.5 million and he'd just go bang and he'd put it all into super without any problem whatsoever.
But now you've got to plan 5 minimum, maybe 7 to 8.
You want to do that. You're on a 10-year trajectory.
10 year,
You're on a 10-year
so it's gone from 1 year
to 10.
To 10.
Because of the legislation that they brought in.
So don't leave it till fucking 5 minutes ago, you know? Yeah.
Well, these are all the people who aren't doing anything, right? And the ages here, so 45, 65, and then we've got 80, 90 out the back here. These are all the people who aren't actually doing anything. And the biggest issue with that is that everybody who's in this zone up here that can't, which is 63% of the survey, so 63%, let's just say, of the population, aren't doing anything until they hit just about 60. Aren't doing anything to plan.
Well, there you go. It's too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
How much time have you got to allow compounding to take place? What happens if markets move against you? You're done.
Like, what happens?
It's a matter of luck.
What happens if the market shits itself for a couple of years and halves your equities?
What happens if you've got $2 million in real estate and zero in super or minimal in super, and then you're taxed for a lifetime? Yeah.
They bring in unrealized capital gains or something or whatever.
So too few people are actually reaching out. And here, this is the really interesting stuff. So of those people who are getting into that retirement zone, what's the major thing? What's the major concerns that they're worried about? And it's no surprise that number one is the rising cost of living, right? And that is 100. Well, it's not 100. It's government, right? In Australia and actually quite globally, the way that they've spent money is disgraceful.
Lunacy.
It's disgusting.
Yep.
But then physical health is a number two, so that's a good one. Healthcare costs, number three. The rising healthcare costs. And here's the thing. The more the governments in Australia spend money, the less they've got to actually dedicate to the medical industry. And here's the funny thing. So, ladies and gentlemen...
Well, hang on. They just gave a discount to all student debt for 20%. Yeah, just wipe that off. Yeah.
Yeah, well, just give more money away. That's,
well done.
That's the way
well done, taxpayer. We just paid off everyone's debt.
To what point? To what point? So, yes or no? So put this in and say
the point is so they can borrow, they can use the government scheme
to buy houses.
to buy a house.
to buy houses, which goes back to this one.
Rising cost of living, yeah.
Yep.
And they've shifted the first home buyer thing to 1.5 million. So guess what? Those property prices are rise to 1.5 million. Anyway, continue, Ben.
Yes. But don't buy it in your super fund because it's a bad investment. You're investing anyway. Double standards.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: we pay 2%. You pay 2%. I pay 2% on our income taxes. 2% Medicare levy. Now, yes or no? Put in the chat a Y if you believe that 2% goes into funding our medical industry. Put an N if you believe it doesn't go to funding.
What do you mean? It's called the Medicare levy. Doesn't that go to Medicare?
Well, that's a funny thing you should say that because originally it was stipulated that the 2% had to go into our medical industry, which makes sense, right? Because it's a Medicare levy, right?
Well, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Now it goes into a bucket.
What do they do with the bucket? Of what?
Of everything. Goes into a bucket of everything. So the statistics now show that we're spending, the revenue generated for the Medicare levy is not being spent for medical services. Same way that road excises and things like that are no longer for roads. Like, here's the thing. If you earn taxes and it's a road excise, put it
into the roads.
If it's a Medicare levy, put it into medicine. That was what they used to do. They don't do it anymore.
Oh, but so hang on. If I've got a property project that I want to raise some money for, I can just raise money for a property project, but not put it in there. Is that what they're saying?
No, if you're a politician,
right?
Yeah,
right.
Probably.
But if I'm a private, business owner,
well, that's unethical.
That's illegal, right?
Yeah.
I'd go to jail.
Yeah. That's unethical.
Oh, yeah. Fuck! I should be a politician.
Oh well, then it wouldn't be ethical. then it'd be ethical. Yeah.
Then kidding me? Bullshit. There you go.
There's this big fear, right? There's this big fear around the rising costs. So it's mainly health, right? Health and rising costs of living. Political issues come in at 31. My mental health closely after at 30%. Probably closely aligned, one might imagine.
God.
Housing affordability, that's down at 28%, but that's because most of them are probably actually in a house at the moment.
Yeah.
Work-life balance, blah, blah, blah. But they then said, well, what do you consider when looking at retiring? What are the top things that you're considering? How much super will I have when I retire? Well, which is it's sort of a silly question because that's not relevant. It's more, what income will I be able to live on when I retire?
Yeah.
That's the more poignant question, but still there. What my lifestyle is going to look like? What will I do in retirement? And what are my annual expenses during retirement? They're the top things that are actually considered. But then when we look down here at the things that are less considered, and when you look at the reasons, why they're not looking forward to retirement, whether I need is the fees that I'll pay for an income stream, irrelevant. How much I'll be taxed on in retirement has now risen to 40%. 40%. That wasn't even on last year's survey.
Yeah,
it wasn't actually there.
Wow.
So now people are scared that the government are going to start taxing their super.
Well, they're going to. It's $4.3 trillion worth of money, and they're like, "Fuck, we're running out of revenue," which they shouldn't be because they're spending it on fucking stupid shit. Like, where can we get some?
Yeah. And then the bottom one, which is effectively aged care, and this is my call. This is the $1 trillion cash bonanza for the government, and they're coming after it. They're coming after it. You go into aged care, you need any type of funding, they're going to start to tax the living eyeballs out of it, and they're going to just tighten the screws on this, no end, and that's the way they're going to start to access property wealth. That's the way you're going to start to access the intergenerational wealth.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, kids. Take care of your parents. Make sure that you take care of them, because if the government takes care of them, you're going to get nothing.
Well, I mean, you and I have talked about this, and we're doing something tomorrow about this, but, it's actually a very smart idea, if you have any wealth in any way, shape or form, not to have it in...
Oh, get rid of it.
Yeah, get rid of it before you end up
Which is kind of weird, isn't it? It's like spend your life accumulating it and then get rid of it.
Then get rid of it.
Yeah.
But before you lose faculties as well. I was chatting with a good client, good friend of ours, actually. You know her, and her family's dad passed away. Stepmom is in charge now, but's got dementia. Yeah, it's just all falling apart. Significant wealth in this space.
You know who wins?
Yeah.
Do you know who wins?
The government
and the lawyers.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's crazy. But anyway, this is a thing. Read, folks, a book that Andy and I love, Die With Zero. It's an American book. Don't think about the American application. Think about the concept, which is you need to do stuff while you're still cognizant, physically, emotionally, mentally, when it comes to your wealth and your money. Don't own a home until you die or go into aged care or get dementia or something like that, because I can tell you, fucking no one's going to win out of that. If you've got family who don't understand money, they'll fucking infight. If you got the government or the lawyers, it'll fucking be gone. So assign money to the right places while you still can.
And I haven't told you this, but I think that this is one of the secret reasons that they're actually attacking trusts. I think that they're making it look like they're attacking it for tax reasons now, but they're actually attacking it for tax reasons down the track.
Yeah.
Because they want to napalm it, because in my view, that's the best way that you can manage intergenerational wealth.
It's coming
out of the big. You get out of your PPR now, well before you're at age pension. You either assign it to a trust or assign it to your kids, or do something like that. Like, caveats all around this. You got to speak to your advisors, but theoretically, if you shifted your wealth into other places, then you can minimize the impact of death taxes and aged care and all of these sorts
of things. And then intergenerational. I mean, you and I have talked about it. I mean, you've taught me, in the last 10 years that we've known each other, the value of understanding where those assets are owned in the kind of, let's say, the last third of your life.
Which changes.
Yeah, changes.
And we've got to stop this dynamic of, you got to have good kids.
Yeah. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee of that, Fenton.
Because then your wealth is only as good as your children's intentions. Anyway, I'll give you that.
Yeah. Good luck.
So,
good luck with that, everyone.
This is something which I'm quite happy about. It seems to be that still the most valued, and I use the word still, the most valued source of information is independent financial advisors. Now, this is an interesting list.
I love the second one.
I
love the second one.
Shortly followed by friends, family, or anybody foolish enough to dish out advice. So a qualified financial advisor is just a little bit more trusted.
Yeah, only pipped them by fucking 4%.
than the barbecue conversation with Uncle Larry.
Uncle Larry.
And then by a general internet search.
All right. Like, people trust ChatGPT more than they trust you and me. Like, fuck.
And then I was surprised about this one. A financial advisor from a super fund. We've employed a few of them who are absolutely cracking, and they are loving having their gloves off. Yeah. Loving actually being able to help people on a bigger scale.
Good
Trained
crew.
well.
Yeah, good crew.
Then the accountant, they slipped. The accountant have slipped down dramatically because they used to be the top, but
back in the day.
It should not be.
How the fuck did government resources get anywhere in there?
Right. Yeah.
That's a scam. They're like, we have to put the government in there somewhere, but just put them in the middle. It's 50-50.
Online toolkits, books.
Colleagues.
Like, this one's the dangerous one. Newspapers. Holy smoke. You'd be in cash since like 1999, wouldn't you? Since the original tech wreck. You'd be in cash. Look at this one, 6%. That's got to be fudged. That 6% bank advisors. Yeah. Come on.
No, the bank. No, come on. The bank's independent.
This one's an interesting one. I'd like to see you and I move that one. An employer. Yeah. I'd love to move that. And we're doing some work in the business, and we've gone over and done lots of presentations to some of our clients' team to try and educate them. I'd like to see, that's the one that I reckon should be right up here. And somewhere next to a good advisor.
Because, going off the script for 5 seconds, I think.
Well, for 50 minutes.
If you want, if you want good quality team long-term retention, helping them create wealth as as part of their career progression,
100%.
it is a great retention
Yes.
strategy.
Yeah,
I think,
I
it's
absolutely
fantastic.
agree.
Yeah.
And this used to be a big thing.
Yeah.
Big thing in advice.
Well,
You'd go in, you'd help the
Yeah.
small business, you'd help all of their team. It was a great thing. And it got destroyed. And there's always bad apples. And one would say most of the bad apples now, because the government brought in all of these policies, that mostly means that all of the bad apples are actually in government now. Like that.
Well, that's where the money's at, mate. That's where the money's at.
Or they're overseas.
Hey, listen.
And I love this.
I've got
Best source of retirement information. None. That's gold.
But hang on. I've got a question. I go back to that list. Where's the real estate agent, mate? Like, why aren't I in there?
Well, it must be the auction clearance rates. It's like, I don't trust you because I was going to pay $400,000
all the mortgage broker
for a 4-bedroom apartment in the city, and it ended up going for $4 million. I don't trust you. I don't trust you.
Fair enough. But check this out. Here's an interesting one. Tell me what you see about this, Fenton. Gross state product per capita growth. You were just talking about the
gross state product per capita growth. Is that gross
capita growth, right? So GDP for growth for state, right? Per capita.
Holy smoke!
But
geez, the government are making a lot of money.
Hey, you picked it straight up.
Holy
right?
smoke!
Where's the growth, folks? Where's the growth? Hey,
how is it that there's nothing? All of the money's in WA.
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
That's an astounding statistic,
isn't it? Hey, so we're talking about jobs and all that sort of stuff.
It's directly in proportion to where the money is actually made.
Right, crazy, huh?
ACT. What comes out of Canberra?
Politicians.
Anything else?
Nothing. No one even wants to fucking live there.
What comes out of WA? How many trillions of tons of rare earths, minerals, steel, iron?
Isn't it close to like 50% or something? Like it's huge. It's huge, huh? That's crazy, huh?
Dumbfounded.
Crazy.
Is that a real statistic?
It's a stat,
That's from the Australian Bureau of Statistics.
Hey, there you go.
Holy smokes.
So, mate, being in the government, that's where the money's at, mate. That's where no wonder they're killing it.
I'm staggered by that statistic.
Anyway, back to you.
I'm just going into politics. Like, hey, if you want to retire well, and if you want to retire well, you want to be taking care of your whole life, be a career politician.
Mate, what do you get? A full pension? You get, you get exemptions, like the whole thing. You get 2 PPRs, no capital gains tax. Happy days, mate. Happy days. Anyway,
I love this about where I got these statistics purely because I love a good chart. We love a good chart. So it actually put helpfulness, trust and helpfulness on the vertical axis, and trust completely on the horizontal. And so I'm happy to say, on that basis, we're just above the accountant. We're right next to them, and I think that we should work together. To be fair, I think
if they team up, the best combo is those two
when they work
every day of the week.
Absolutely.
Every day of the week. Yep.
And then down here, books, magazines, colleagues, friends, and family. They failed a little bit on this measure. So finally, they felt
fair enough. So, we got to show this in a different way.
We do. But here's the thing: if you follow some really simple rules, and I said this thing just more recently with some of our clients, I said, you give me $600 a week for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
I'll make you $2.6 million more wealthy, or $2.5 million more wealthy. And it doesn't have to be complicated, but it needs to be something like this.
Well, it's more consistent rather than complicated, right?
Yes.
It's like, consistency gets compounding results.
Simple things done consistently produce extraordinary results.
Yeah.
Look anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
I'm not saying eat their food. Not saying that.
Nah.
But look at what they've done.
Yeah.
They're the biggest real estate owner in the world, I think, now.
They are. Yeah, they took over the church.
Yep, they took over the church and the kingdom. Look at what they've done by doing simple things. Hamburgers, simply, efficiently produced extraordinary results.
Yeah.
It's written everywhere, and investing is 100% the same thing.
Wealthiest company in the world? right now Nvidia, but
Yes.
maybe overpriced. Apple.
Yep.
Steve Jobs rescue mission.
One computer.
That's right. We're going to just do one product really fucking well.
Yep.
Bush.
And everyone thought he was just, there's some great stuff.
Hey, isn't it?
And he said, on the road to success, you're going to have a lot of people, smarter people than me, say that you're on the wrong journey.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to hold conviction to your true north and to your aim. And it's not to say that you're wrong or I'm wrong or either of us are right. But we've got a vision of where we want to be, and we're going to do these things in order to be able to achieve it. And it was that simple with Steve. It's like one mission, let's go and get it.
Yep.
And for Australians, it's one mission, which is, retirement, freedom, whatever that definition is. It's somewhere around the same for everybody. We're not all unique flowers.
Does not matter who you are, where you come from. It doesn't matter. You have a belief. I think all Aussies, whether you're a new Aussie or a existing Aussie or whatever, it doesn't matter. You believe putting in a good effort for a lifetime in a place of
good days pay for a hard day's
that's
work.
it.
That was what Australia was built on.
And I still think it does well for Australia.
Yep.
I mean, we can lift our tall poppy syndrome a bit, I think, in Australia. But ultimately, I've done my 40 years. I've added value. I've paid my taxes. I've followed the fucking rules.
Don't change them.
Don't change them. And I want to aim at something over a period of time, and I want to be able to retire well, and I don't want that to be uncertain, over time.
Yep. But doing the simple things consistently, and this is where, let me reverse around. If you just, from super, if you're earning 100K a year, you had 40,000 in super, ballpark, and you're investing in a growth profile, right? If you just only did your super, you'll be sitting at about 1.3 to 1.4. That's pretty close to those perverts that are criminals and too rich, isn't it? Like that's starting to get dangerously close to those people who are criminally rich.
So on 100 grand with your
SGC, so your standard super, just
standard contributions,
invested in
nothing
high
else.
risk profile,
yep.
right?
A little bit more aggressive in your investment.
Just where most people probably should be when they're younger. You'll get to that sort of 1.3, 1.4 mark.
That's pretty good.
You'll get there.
When you retire, it's tax-free at this moment in time, under 2 million.
Yep. If you put an extra 100 in per week.
Yep.
Right, so 2 packs of ciggies, 10 coffees.
$5,200 for the whole year.
Yep. If you did that every single year, right, ballpark, you're going to be somewhere just short of that number that the politicians say is a scummily rich number, right? It's 1.8. And that's not a lot, mate. That's not a lot. For some people it might be, and I appreciate that.
So that's
but for
an
many,
extra $100 a week.
Yes. And it will reduce your tax. And it will reduce your
tax.
brainer.
No-brainer. I'd love to see the net, if you put in 100, it's only $70 more. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, because it's that after tax.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, well, it's 32 minus, 32 minus 15, so that's 19. So 19 off, so it's $20, so it's $80.
$80. There you go. Yeah. It's no-brainer. No-brainer.
But here's the thing. You whack the 200 and you're now into the devil's territory of being filthy rich, horrible person who needs to be taxed.
Scumbag.
Yep. You're now well over $2 million.
Yeah.
Well, you should be fined, right, for doing a simple thing very, very well.
I love it.
You do the same thing outside in investing world, you're not going to get to the same heights because it's not as tax efficient. But if you just put 20,000, 25,000 in, over 30 years, standard market returns, you'll end up with just short of $200,000 over 30 years.
Can't complain about
that. You put an extra $100 in a week, you're going to be just short of $800,000. Put the extra $200
Wow, that's a compounding extra, isn't it?
About 1.3. Now, you put the two of those together, now we're definitely criminals and horribly, egregiously rich, terrible, horrible people who need to be taxed within an inch of their life because we've done the nasty thing. And here's the thing.
And you can build up to this, right? If you're a bit younger, start at $50 a week,
100%.
$20 a week, whatever. Like, I mean, this is the thing. Like you and I were chatting about, it's not really the dollar amount in the beginning. It's the discipline. It's the discipline,
but
right?
It's not buying the extra T-shirt. It's not buying the over fancy car. It's not buying a house beyond our means.
Yeah.
It's making the small sacrifices each day, right? That many don't, and most don't.
Well,
And they don't have to be massive sacrifices.
They
They're
don't.
just small sacrifices every day. Simple things done consistently over time produce extraordinary results. And half of the job of advisors, really, in my eyes, is to go, here it is. Here's the structure. Let's automate it together, and don't touch it. And don't listen to what goes on in the media where tell you that the whole world's about to blow up. Who cares? Because if you've got 30 years or 20 years, then that market cycle is going to go up and down. Take the risks that you feel comfortable in taking, but then go over that 30-year period. Don't listen to it like, oh, it's the worst time to get it. Don't listen to the conversation at the barbecue. Don't listen to the taxi driver driving home from the airport. Maybe experiment, jump into a few things like Bitcoin and things like that, whatever. Like, fill your boots, but do the simple things consistently over time, be held to account, do them well. And you can be one of these horribly rich people that the government say are just entitled generation who make small sacrifices every single day in order to make sure that you've got everything that you want on the other side of when your working energy runs out.
Yeah.
Whether it's mental, whether it's physical, I don't know. It pisses me off when I see them start to say that these amounts are for the horrible rich people of society. It shits me. Because ultimately, every single one of you, every single one out there, and one of the things I love about the values are positive, and you've heard me talk about it before, is it's something along the lines, you might be able to help me. It's something that is that your average Australian can do, can have wealth, can reach true wealth or can be wealthy. Your average Australian, not your rich, crazy person, but your average Australian can be truly wealthy financially in life. And it's an uncommon belief.
It's an uncommon belief, and people do not believe it. Right?
Well, the politicians don't.
No. Well,
I
I mean,
you're a
and
horrible
even
rich person.
well, it's an interesting one, right? There is a real undercurrent of this kind of like, because I can't buy a home, I need to rob from the rich to pay the poor. There's this weird fucked up Robin Hood attitude coming in, right? And the politicians are going, well, there's all these people who don't want to take any responsibility. They don't want to. All they want to do is say blame someone else. Oh, just because 50 years ago you went to uni for free. Now I still think education. I think education, transport, and medical should be baked into our tax system. Personally, I
should be baked into our resource system.
Resources, yes. If you want a nation that's productive, fucking educate them.
Yeah.
Make them super useful. You get higher average incomes, which you get more tax. But
you should be Norwegian.
Fuck. No. But this is, I think they're a clusterfuck that lot. But
the politicians in Norway, just not the whole nation.
Just like taxing people 50% is complete bullshit.
That's crazy.
But here's the drill. This is the thing. This is where the nuance in here, Andy, is I've got something that I want to show everyone. But where the fuck did I put it? Check it out. Here we go. Let's do this. Whack that up there. All right.
Equity trustees, isn't it? Feature again.
Oh, yeah, there they go. There we go. Record taxes, mate. Record taxes. Oh, hang on. I'll get rid of that one. All right, record taxes. 3 levels of government will collect a record 1 trillion in taxes this year. All right. However, they're not spending it very well. All right.
But the federation is falling.
But this is my point. Here's my point. If you have a highly skilled, highly educated, highly active, commercially, entrepreneurial, incentivized.
Yep.
If people earn more money, they'll pay more damn tax.
Produce more things.
Like it's like you don't disincentivize. Like this is the thing. I heard this the other day. Oh, let's we don't want people to smoke. Well, we'll tax it. So less people smoke, right? That's supposedly anyway. All right. If you want to disincentivize something, what's the prevailing behavior?
Bring in vapes.
Yeah, make it go underground and make it illegal. If you want to disincentivize something, tax it. Yeah. What are they fucking doing now? Oh, let's disincentivize entrepreneurial activity. Let's disincentivize you being wealthy or creating wealth. Let's disincentivize you working harder and making more money. Or we'll tax it. Well, guess what? It's fucking counterproductive. You tax it, you get less people working hard, you get less businesses in Australia, you get less investment here. Guess what? They're going to kick this shit down the road, and in 10 or 15 or 20 years, our kids will be in a fucking shit show because the wealth, the innovation, the education has left this country. It's bullshit. Anyway, there you go. I think that if you invested in education, you invested in entrepreneurial systems and stuff like that, your society would be way more productive, and you can tax by default. You'll earn more fucking taxes. The country will be super wealthy. Make them more productive, and you earn more money. It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
And
anyway,
the only way that you do that is not to have government control, but rather government incentives and not handouts. Subsidies into industries, and NDIS is not a good example. TAFE is not a good example. But pre-existing infrastructure of already strong things like universities, Melbourne, all of these types of universities, and that's how ultimately England did it, and some places in America. But the problem is the governments try and own some of it and then quasi-privatise it, but hold too much of the reins. And the reality is they don't know how to run a business.
Well, this is the thing. Here's the turn. Here's the next 20 years, and it ain't the white collar. It is not white collar future in Australia. It's not. You tell me what administration process right now that ChatGPT can't fucking do. It's not. Our future is in vocational activities. We're struggling in this country because we don't have enough fucking plumbers. We can't build a house. We can't build a road. We ain't got robots yet. That's 20 years away to plumb your house up. That's not happening. But I can tell you what, any of those white collar jobs, I was listening to Elon Musk. He said it's fucking over, mate. It's over already. You're dead. You're a dead man walking already when it comes to white collar. And this was the other thing in here. Check out this bit here for
have to get some overalls.
But and if you think about your kids right now and you go, right, okay, what would be a future, let's say the next 20 or 30 years, you go, right, this is a career that you could make a couple of bucks in.
Well, wasn't interesting. A lot of people said it's coding, and coding has become
Marty, one of the crew, our crew, he's like, mate, I just put it into ChatGPT and it just codes it for me.
Yeah. And Duncan is like now able to have half the amount of people do like 10 times the amount of stuff, because now it's just people who have enough knowledge about it guiding the intelligence.
All you've got to do is ask the right question. That's all you do. Check this out.
Oh yeah, I saw this. Yeah.
Check it out. AI-driven tax advisory.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
No.
It's not that hard. If you want to follow the rules for 90% of the population, right?
This would be brilliant. There'll be one for the government, and then you have the consultant outside the government.
Well, this is where the quality consultant will always be okay.
But there'll be AI.
But fuck H&R Block. I wouldn't fucking touch that with a fucking 10-foot barge pole.
But that's only your opinion, because I, on the other hand, appreciate staying out of jail, and I think that they're a very reputable institution and that people should use them.
They're perfectly fine.
Yes. I think there's a place for it. And
well, they do a perfectly fine job. But you tell me what AI is like right now. Xero just brought in AI, right? So Xero just knows everything now. Now, for me, there's a other small amount of conspiracy theory in this shit, right? So the moment that happens, the government wants the backdoor into that AI, and then the government knows exactly what you've, like, on an instant, what you're claiming and all that sort of shit. I think there's some of that shit coming. But anyway,
takes us back to ledgers. It's like all of a sudden,
we're going to handwrite the ledger. So they ban cash, they ban handwritten ledgers. It's all got to be anyway. Let's not. It's after 5 o'clock. Anyway, but Fenton, I think we should wind up because we're 30 minutes over our time and we've got shit to do. But folks, it's been good to hang out. Hopefully, you've had as much fun as we have. Yeah. I've had a good time, Fenton.
There we go. Sounds fair.
Yeah. Good wine, a small amount of wisdom, and a lot about wealth. There you go.
And look, if you do, this is a second last wealth wine.
Yes, don't muck around, folks. Yep.
But if you want to, if you're a business owner, you're a professional investor, and you want to understand some of the smaller details behind some of the strategies that we talk about. We run workshops that you can come along to. Scan the QR code, come along, hang out with us. We're probably even, there it is. It's the hand there. It is the appropriate time for that now. Come along, hang out, and I think we've got one more of them this year as well. We'll run plenty more next year, but come and hang out with us, scan the QR code, and we'll take off the Kubota, as they say, show you a little bit behind the scenes.
I don't want to see you with the Kubota off, mate.
But we share a lot of this outside of this domain as well. So come out, hang out with us. We'd love to see you there. But otherwise, one last episode for the year.
One last episode for the year, and then we kick off sort of end of Jan.
Yep.
With the new 2026.
Need to have a rest and.
Well, the liver needs to recover.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I don't know whether Christmas is the best time for
no.
that.
But Fenton is hosting two more. One next week and one 2 weeks after. Two more wealth and business webinars.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So scan that code, folks. Come along. We'd love to have you there if you're up for it. Andy will dive a little bit deeper on the stuff that you were talking about today.
I'll show you the back door into those strategies, but that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
But anyway, team, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. If you're in Sydney, hopefully we'll be seeing you tomorrow at the event. If we're not, until next week, it's a good night from me.
And folks, it's a good night from him.
Good night, team.
Good night.
Have a cracking weekend. We'll enjoy the Sydney misery, otherwise known as weather.
Adios, folks. If you are in town in Sydney, and if this is just so random, you want to come and hang out tomorrow, and you know anybody's number in the team, come text us and
come and hang out.
Come out. Fenton and I are doing 6 hours tomorrow, deep dive, personal wealth model, if you're up for it. Anyway, there you go. Come along. There's some seats.
See you there.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching another episode of Wealth, Wine and Wisdom.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you never miss a thing, folks.
We'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Debrief the week with Wealth, Wine and Wisdom.
Every Friday at 5 p.m. Victoria and New South Wales time. We know that Queensland, South Australia, WA have different time zones, as does Darwin, but we're sure that you can do the calculations depending on whether it's daylight savings or not.
You can also catch up on all the episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you check out the Positive Mentor podcast from our 6-star team at positivementor.com.au.